Some suggest it's a distraction ahead of what will be a Trump scandal-heavy focused week on Capitol Hill as congressional leaders return from 6 weeks of vacation. Well, joining me right now is Rachel Bovard, the Senior Policy Director for the Conservative Policy Institute, and Democratic strategist Basil Smikle, former Executive Director of the New York Democratic Party. Okay, Rachel, let me start with you. How do you interpret this whole memo from NOAA to its employees?
Well, what the memo basically said was, hey, let's rely on the advice that we've been giving and let's not issue our personal opinions, which I think everyone in America would agree with. We don't want to hear the personal opinions of people that work at NOAA. We want to hear the facts. And if anyone was paying attention to the hurricane advisories that were coming out of NOAA between August 28th and September 2nd, they showed a 5 to 20% chance that Alabama would experience hurricane force winds. That's the best estimate.
5 to 10% chance that they would experience tropical storm force winds. At no point hurricane force winds. Let me clarify that. And the reason people who are at the National Hurricane Center there in Birmingham put out a memo is they were getting frantic calls from people, residents, saying, should we be evacuating? This is dangerous stuff.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why NOAA issued a statement that said, hey, this is the best reporting we have, 5 to 20% tropical storm force winds. Like you said, they never said there was going to be a hurricane. I think it's better that everyone kind of batten down the hatches and prepared regardless. But I think the bigger issue is, why are we still talking about this? The president's trying to end the war in Afghanistan. Border crossings are down by 30%. We have a healthcare system that's a mess. And yet here we go, day whatever on SharpieGate. I mean, this is why 69% of Americans say their faith in the media is declining because of their obsessive reporting on things like this.
Well. Rachel, he's obsessed about it. He's been tweeting quite a bit about it.
There are media companies that make money off being professional presidential antagonists, and that's what this is.
We saw what we heard about the memo that NOAA put out here. I want to show you what the National Hurricane Center folks told me just last week after that memo went out. I noted 3 times today the president said this storm will impact Alabama and Alabama is in trouble. Did he get that information from you guys, or where's the president getting this? Do you know?
You know, I think we're really trying to get everybody ready. If you think about this storm as we try to, have impacts in Florida and up to the Carolinas, it's the peak of the hurricane season. Okay. And we've been really saying we're getting into the peak. Let's get everybody along the coast, the Gulf, and also the Atlantic ready for the hurricane season.
So Alabamans should be on guard as well.
We all should be watching this time of year. We're getting right into that peak.
All right, Ken Graham, thank you from National Hurricane Center. Appreciate your time. I'll tell you, the storm wasn't the only thing that was spinning. He was doing a very good job of spinning. But what do we make? What's behind all of this? The president's obsession with this?
I don't know if there's what the obsession is with Dorian or with Alabama. I think the obsession more is just being right and being forceful about what he thinks is right and delivering that to the American people, regardless of how wrong or his inability to say, you know what, I made a mistake. That should not have happened. If you think about, and Rachel talked about facts.
Is he worried about what's going to happen on Capitol Hill this week?
No, he doesn't care. Okay. Well, let me not say that. He cares only to the extent that it conflicts with his relationship with his base, not the American people writ large, but specifically his base, to sort of bring the hurricane thing into this part of the conversation. The fact that he would use a map that someone, potentially him, drew this additional sort of roped Alabama into the path of the hurricane and did so from the Oval Office tells us a lot. It tells us that regardless of what scientists say, and this is very important, regardless of what scientists say, regardless of how he may inflame concerns and fears with certain parts of the population, it's really important that people pay attention to what he wants them to pay attention to. And that's what's scary, particularly when you're trying to go to an authority figure to get facts and information.
And we're going to have a lot of people on Capitol Hill this week who are going to be asking a lot of questions and a lot of investigation. So perhaps the president is thinking about that. Who knows? I'm going to have to leave it there, Basil. Appreciate your time. And Rachel, thank you also for being here.